Hi, my name is Sherry. I'm going to teach you today about the safety of using the tools of the trade in jewellery. Yes, you can take it that I am a jeweller. Got into jewellery at the age of 5 with semi-precious gemstones, then went into Hockley and did the professional side of the jewellery. Today I'm going to show you the tools that I use to make my own jewellery online, which you can actually view at www.jewelrylink.com. Starting off in jewellery, the things that you do need. Now I use 4 pliers. These pliers are your wire cutters, wire clippers known to most people. Then you have your long nose round pliers, and they're rounded for a reason on the end to help refine delicate work. Those are a long nose rounded pliers, but these pliers I've got in my hand are quite useful. Inside, if I can hold it up to the camera and hold it at an angle, you should be able to see the crimped inside. For a reason, because when you're working with jump rings, all jump rings have to be together and they have to be spot on. You can use those then to crimp the jump rings together, which makes them sturdier, stronger when you're making jewellery. The other pliers I use can be used in opening jump rings and closing of jump rings, or if you're using a type of metal and you want to make it round, like your round loop pins that I'll be showing you later, you use these basically because of the roundness there, and you put the wire over there, loop it round, and you make it big or fine to the pliers that you use. Also, you will be using, if you're beading at some point, you will be using a beading tool. A beading tool is a very sharp tool with a very sharp point. Now if you're using beads and they're closed over, use this, and say my fingers are the beads, what you do, you push it in and you're just opening the hole in the bead. Very, very sharp. If you've got small children around, what I do is I find an old bead and basically stick it on the end, makes it safe to use. For small children around, keep it out of the way. Also, a thimble. If anybody like me, and you're opening a bead and you get a little bit ham-fisted, as some people do, you can miss your aim, break the bead, break a stone, it can shatter, and you can put the beading tool into your finger, wind up cutting your finger open. To prevent that, use a thimble. Then if you miss, you hit the thimble, you don't cut your finger. So a little safety tip that I've learned. The next thing you might want to invest in is, as you can see, a tape measure. Now a lot of people will have a desk and it usually has a metal rule on with the tape measure on, and they cut the wire to the size they need. A lot of people use a tape measure and will sellotape it to a desk or a table. If you're anybody like me, a good trick for you, get an old camping table. It doesn't have to be too big, and go along, if it's got like a white plastic surround, put a pen mark where you want to cut your wire. So you just hold the wire at one end, run it down and cut. Always, when you do wire, never cut it short, always cut over to what you want. Simple reason, if you're making a necklace and you've made it too short or a bracelet too short, you can't do anything about it, you have to redo the lot. If you make it long, if you make the wire longer and you run out of beads, then you can always add, and I'll show you what you can add, something like this to finish off your necklace, which is using the looped pins, as I was telling you about. This is a necklace that I have made myself using tribal beads and the earrings to match. So you can make things and you can design things and you can be creative. So always use more the amount of wire to what you need. If you find that you're doing a choker but you've got an excess of wire, you can always turn it into a bracelet. So you have a couple of ideas and techniques that you've got there ready. The next one you want to start with is your jeweller's wire, which is silver plastic coated jeweller's wire. Comes on a reel and you have quite a bit of it. As I said, just run it along your table and cut it to the length you need, cutting over the length you need. Always a good tip. Then you'll need something what you call a lobster clasp. I'll take one out and show you. A lobster clasp is ideal for beading, because what it does is, in there, can you see there is a very small hole? Thread your wire in there and then you'll get like a cup, and your knot will sit actually in the cup, and you clasp it together. So you get your pliers, clasp it together with your hoop at the other end, make it into a hoop, get your wire into a hoop and put it into the actual clamp shell, the clamp shell clasp, and it makes it firmer for jump rings. Now jump rings come in all different sizes. If you want to use big jump rings, you can use small, you can use fine. I use a variety of different size jump rings. Now jump rings are very it's one of those ones that with jump rings you have to be very careful, because they can break, they can bend, but when you do a jump ring, and I'll get you one here, it has to be, I don't know if you can see that, it has to be close together like that, perfect, not above, not below, it has to touch, spot on. Crimp it, makes it stronger for your necklace or your bracelet. Then you'll need something called a lobster clasp. Lobster clasps are used on necklaces and on bracelets. I'll just try and get one so you can see close up, if you can see that. Right, yeah, that's a lobster clasp close up. And what that does is you'll put, where you see the hole at the bottom, you'll put a jump ring through there and attach it to your necklace or your bracelet, and you have a clasp. You can either use a jump ring for it to clasp onto, or you have a little plate hook which will be about that big with two holes. The bigger hole you put your clasp through, the smaller hole a jump ring, and attach it to your necklace. These are very good as well, and these are what you call your hoop pins. And the reason why they're called that is because you can actually make, say you want to do a necklace but you want some to come off, so you make it fancy. You use either your head pins, which is like a flat head and it just hangs down and it hangs off a necklace, or you use your hoop pins, which are those, and you do something like this with your necklace. So you can design something and make it unusual, make it different. So when you go to a wedding, people talk about it and it becomes an object that you can talk about and be proud of because you made it and you feel good about wearing it. So those are the tools that you need to start yourself off. Before I go, always a good idea to get some of these in. Now you can get them from Poundland, and the reason why I get some of these in is if you're doing beading work, you can break your beads into sections, And also when you're doing beading work, make sure you have an even amount of beads for each side of your necklace. So those are the tools that you need, different things that you need to start you off on your journey in jewellery, and I hope that I've inspired you a little bit. The next one I'll be doing will be actually making a necklace, so watch out for my next blog.